Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 2, text number 45. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Purport. All material activities involve actions and reactions in the three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where, in the beginning, there is Brahma Jignasa, or questions on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are part of different Vedas, as the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of duality, such as happiness and distress, or cold and warmth, and by tolerating such dualities become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmanitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So you see here, very nicely it is described about, of course, a lot about the Vedas. Again, we covered the Vedas last week, I think, and the week before that. But here, Krishna is telling Arjuna that the Vedas, they deal with subject matter of three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now we learn more about these three modes in chapter 14, which most of you have already heard before, since we are, redoing the Bhagavad Gita. So the problem with the modes of material nature is they cause bondage, like entanglement. And as we all know, I'm sure you all have experienced, I have experienced also, that we are all struggling for existence. See, the children, they are struggling in their own way, problems in school, with friends, or whatever it may be. Adults are facing, struggles, whether it's a job, family, whatever. Old people like me are struggling with the health problems, whatever it is. So we are all struggling. And Bhagavad Gita is showing us a way how we can become free of these three modes: neither goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance. Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to become transcendental and come to the mode of pure goodness. In fact, Bhagavad Gita also teaches us how to live and how to die happily, how to be self-realized. So all these questions are answered in the Bhagavad Gita. And most importantly, what bothers us more than the body is the mind. And unfortunately, the mind is very flickering. It just keeps jumping and hopping like a monkey, 1 minute it's here, another minute it's there, it's all over the place. So from Bhagavad Gita, we will learn how to control this flickering mind. You see, as long as we have this body, which is material, it's made of, material elements, there's going to be actions and reactions. We cannot sit tight at home and not do anything. We have to perform actions. And every action has a reaction. And these reactions, they cause bondage for a living entity. But here Krishna is telling Arjuna, learn to tolerate the anxieties, tolerate the dualities in life. What are the dualities? Heat, cold, success, failure, happiness, distress. So many dualities are there. So Krishna wants Arjuna to rise above these dualities and come to that transcendental plane, that spiritual plane, which can help us to become self-realized. And that is possible when we start becoming completely dependent on the Lord. Right now, we are dependent on ourselves, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And so many times we see we don't succeed in what we want to do. So best thing is to depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not just depend, but fully depend. You see, we have been talking about the Vedas a lot since a few verses, and the Vedas, as I explained, was one Veda which was again divided into 4 parts. So the Vedas mostly talk about different rituals and sacrifices, and there is a special section of the Vedas which is called Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. Now, that is mostly about fruitive activities. I do this and I want this benefit out of it, looking for the results of those activities. But the Vedic knowledge is actually meant for self-realization. Purpose of the Vedas is so we can understand the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Why? Because the scriptures tell us, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. And self-realization actually means knowing who is the Supreme Lord Krishna, knowing what is our relationship with him. In the Bhagavad Gita, we will learn where Krishna says, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that we are eternal parts of the Lord. Eternal. That means for the soul, there is neither birth nor death. We are eternal. So our position, our constitutional position is to be the servant of the Supreme Lord. So here Krishna is advising Arjuna, because he's seeing Arjuna is very morose, he's sad, he's lamenting, he doesn't want to, fight in the battle, even though he is a warrior, he is a soldier, he needs to fight, but he's avoiding his prescribed duties. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you please rise above this Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, which is dealing about rituals. You please rise above these 3 modes. Don't be so passionate, about that, oh, I don't want to fight this one. Or, no, just do your prescribed duty. And gradually, Krishna will explain to Arjuna how he can become self-realized. So then there will be no need for doing any rituals. And the first step, Srila Prabhupada says, is Athato Brahma Jigyasa, which means now it's the time to inquire. Inquire about what? About who am I? Where have I come from? Where do I go from here? What is the purpose of my human form of life? What am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? All these inquiries can help one come to the stage of self-realization. Now, as I mentioned, from the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says, all are struggling for existence, right? But Vedic knowledge, if we understand the purpose of the Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna, then we will be able to remove this bondage that is keeping us bound up here in this material world. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he says in the purport that the Upanishads, they give us knowledge about self-realization. And Upanishads are actually a part of the Vedic literature. And Bhagavad Gita is part of the fifth Veda, which is called the Mahabharata. Now, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra when that big war called Mahabharata had taken place. So we see that not only with us, but we see with people around us that there are a lot of anxieties in this material world. There is anxiety about how to make ends meet, anxiety about how to get better health, perfect health, anxiety about family, about so many different anxieties, especially about the job. So how can one remain undisturbed amongst anxieties? That will be possible only when we can control our flickering mind. Our mind is flickering here, there, everywhere. So when we can learn the process of controlling the flickering mind, then automatically there's going to be peace and happiness, and these material miseries are not going to cause anxiety for us. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us how to tolerate these anxieties or these miseries. He says, Matra sparshastu kantaya shitoshana sukha dukkadaha. You see, that happiness and distress, they are like summer and winter seasons. They come and they go. We have noticed that in our lives, right? That when we are happy, but it doesn't last forever. Happiness comes and goes. Distress or misery comes and goes. It is not permanent. So Krishna says, learn to tolerate that. We know that today we are miserable, tomorrow we will not be miserable. We must learn to tolerate, and this becomes possible only when we become fully conscious of Krishna. How? By following the rules and regulations, that are given in the Bhagavad Gita, by performing activities which can lead us to a karma-free life. That means no more reactions, which means we perform a karma. We do our prescribed duty, but we do not hanker to enjoy the results of our activities. That is a karma. That is karma-free life. Now, we being a part of the Supreme Lord, we are naturally conscious of Him, but right now we've forgotten. Because we are in this material world amongst so many material activities going on, there's not much spirituality going around. So we've forgotten. So best thing is to revive our consciousness of Krishna. How do we revive? The best, the easiest, the most simple method is mantra meditation. That's the easiest way to become fully conscious of the Supreme Lord. And what is that meditation? What is that mantra or Mahamantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant this holy name, this Mahamantra on a daily basis, we make it our daily practice, then not only will we be able to control our flickering mind, we will become self-realized, we will become fully conscious of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and that will give us happiness and peace. And the anxieties are not going to disturb us at all. Not only that, Prabhupada says when we do that, then it will bring us to the highest perfectional stage. Then we can say we are utilizing this human form of life in the right way. Because this human form of life is not meant to eat, sleep, and be merry. No, we have philosophical intelligence so we can understand the purpose of human life and improve it with the help of spirituality, and then come to the highest perfectional stage. Now, those who do this mantra meditation, especially on a daily basis, they are considered to be, excuse me, they are considered to be on the highest level of spirituality. You see, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna that intelligent people take up to Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the topmost rung of the yoga ladder. And he says that those who are very intelligent, they don't run after rituals of the Vedas. They don't desire to go to the heavenly planets where there is a lot of opulence. They don't, try to spend their time just trying to read all the Vedas, which is almost impossible to finish reading in one lifetime because the Vedas are so vast. That's why Krishna has given us the summary of the Vedas in Srimad Bhagavatam. You see those books at the back. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. And the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam is the Bhagavad Gita. So intelligent people, they take up the essence of the Vedas and try to follow that. And as I mentioned, the first instruction is to do mantra meditation. I'll tell you why. I won't tell you, I'll tell you what the Vedic scriptures say. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu, tretayam yajato make, dvapare paricharyan, kalo tad hari kirtan. So the Vedic scriptures describe that there is a different path of self-realization for each age. So there are 4 ages mentioned: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. We are right now in Kali Yuga. So it says that in Satya Yuga, people used to live for almost 10,000 years, I think. And they had so much time. No, actually, maybe more. So they had so much time. The process was meditation. To go to a secluded place with no disturbance, no cell phones, no laptops, nothing at all. Just go to the forest, sit down and meditate for thousands of years. Then a person would become self-realized. In Treta Yuga, it was fire sacrifice. People lived for thousands of years and they were able to perform fire sacrifice at that time and had to perform for a very long period of time. In Dwapar Yuga, it's mentioned the process for self-realization was elaborate worship in the temples. Kalau Tad. Kalau means Kali Yuga. Tad means one gets the same benefit that is possible in other yugas only by Hari Kirtanam, only by chanting the holy names of the Lord. So in Kali Yuga, the process for self-realization is chanting the holy names, mantra meditation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Krishna came to this material world 500 years ago as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show us how we can become self-realized just by chanting this Maha Mantra. You know, Prabhupada says, just like in India, there are different wells, well with the water. So there are different wells. Some wells are for drinking, some are for washing, some are for bathing. But if one goes to the lake or to the river, one can do everything there at the lake or at the river. One can drink, wash, bathe, do everything. That is what he's trying to explain, is that when we start chanting the holy names of the Lord, everything else is included. It's like one can become self-realized just by chanting the holy names of the Lord. So Bhakti Yoga can do all of this. whether it is becoming self-realized, becoming fully conscious of the Lord. Everything is possible with Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because Bhakti Yoga is the purpose of the Vedas. In chapter 15, we will learn where Krishna says, Vedascha sarver aham eva vedyo, Vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. That Krishna says, I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am to be known from the Vedas. That is the purpose of the Vedas. So here Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Very, very important. How can we become karma free? How can we stop this cycle of action, reaction? Simply by doing our prescribed duty, but not trying to enjoy the fruits of our activities. And Krishna says, do not consider yourself to be the cause of your actions. Neither be attached to not doing my duty. Oh, one may say, oh, you know what, if I perform some action, is going to give some reaction, so better I don't do anything. No. According to Bhagavad Gita, that is sinful. We should not be attached to not doing our prescribed duty. Now we learn more about this karma yoga in chapter 3 and chapter 5, where Krishna will say there should be no attachment to the fruits of activities, because attachment leads either to enjoyment or suffering. And we don't want that, right? We want to be peaceful. We want to be happy. We don't want any anxieties. So we will learn more about this in chapter 3 and 5. Now, in the very next verse, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely. I'm covering from verse 45 to 48, where he, so much Krishna is talking about prescribed duties. So Srila Prabhupada divides it and he says, so there are prescribed duties, there's capricious work, and then there is inaction. What are prescribed duties? Which are done in terms of one's acquired modes. So if I'm in the mode of goodness, then based on that, my prescribed duty is there. In passion, ignorance, it is different. What is capricious work? Work which is done without sanction of authority. It's, we just come up with some work and say, oh, this is my prescribed duty. That is capricious work. No, it is without the sanction of authority. And inaction means not doing one's prescribed duty, which is actually sinful. So Krishna is advising Arjuna, don't be inactive. Don't, lament and say, oh, now I'm going to the mountains to meditate. I don't want to fight this battle, even though it's my prescribed duty. No, don't be inactive. He says, do your prescribed duty, but do not be attached to the results. Don't think whether you're going to succeed in this war or you're going to be a failure. Don't think about the results, because as soon as we start meditating on the results or getting attached to the results, that causes bondage, and bondage is not a good thing. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he divides prescribed duty into 3 subdivisions. He says routine work, emergency work, and desired work, right? Routine work is something we are obligated as per the scriptures. We don't have desire for results, and that is in the mode of goodness, because work that we perform should not create more reactions, because when there are more reactions, then there's going to be another birth. And why would anyone want to be in this material world? Why won't anyone want to get the spiritual body and go to the spiritual world where there is no birth, no disease, no old age, no death, permanent happiness? You see? So that is why Arjuna is being advised again and again by Krishna, please do your prescribed duty. Fight. You are a kshatriya, a warrior, a soldier, and your prescribed duty is to fight. So please get up and fight, because not participating in this war is also an attachment. Why aren't you refusing to fight? Because you're attached to the bodies of your relatives, right? You are thinking, oh, if my relatives will die in the battlefield, Who will I enjoy my life with? So Krishna is saying such attachment does not lead to salvation. Any attachment, whether it is negative or positive, it causes bondage. And no one likes to be bound up. Imagine if all of us were bound up with ropes or shackles or whatever it is, we would not be happy because we won't be able to do anything, right? We will be bound up, and no one likes that. So, in other words, Krishna is telling Arjuna, inaction, which means not doing your prescribed duty, is sinful. So you please get up and you do your prescribed duty. Now, the last verse for today, which I'm taking, is number 48, where Krishna is teaching Arjuna how to perform prescribed duty. He's saying, do it equipoised, right? Which means there are no dualities. Equipoised means totally balanced, not thinking happiness, distress, hot, cold, summer, winter. No, nothing at all. Completely equipoised, not disturbed at all. And Krishna is advising Arjuna to abandon, give up all attachment to success or failure. Do not think about that, because when one starts working in that position of being equipoised, then Krishna says such equanimity is called yoga. Yoga does not mean just some physical postures. No, according to Bhagavad Gita, yoga is something more. It is a connection with the Supreme Lord. So here he's saying that such equanimity is called yoga. And Krishna wants Arjuna to act in yoga. Now, what is that yoga? That is a big $1 million question. So, according to the Bhagavad Gita, concentrating our mind upon Krishna by controlling the senses with the help of mantra meditation, that is how we will be able to control the flickering mind, and that is yoga. Krishna is telling Arjuna, give up this sense of proprietorship. This belongs to me, that belongs to me. No, give up all that. Don't, we are proprietors of nothing. We came empty-handed, right? And we are going to leave empty-handed, right? You all must have heard about Alexander the Great. We have heard about him in the histories books. And Alexander the Great had expressed his desire that after my death, when you bury me, please make sure my hands are out of the grave. I want to show the world I conquered the whole world, but I went away empty-handed. Look, there's nothing in my hand. I've gone back empty-handed. You see, so trying to be the proprietor of this and that and this one and that one is not going to help us. It's because nothing belongs to us. We came empty-handed. In fact, we came naked. We didn't even come with clothes, right? We came without anything, and we will go without anything. So we cannot consider ourselves to be the proprietor of anything. In fact, we are not the proprietor of our own bodies also. This body also belongs to Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Everything belongs to him. So we need to use it in the right way for the right purpose. So Arjuna, he needs to understand that if he follows what Krishna wants, what is Krishna's will, and give up the proprietorship, my body, my relatives, my house, my kingdom, if he gives that up, then he will be able to attain peace and happiness. Then, it'll be possible to control the senses. Then the mind will automatically become under control. Now, how do we control the mind and the senses? Simple process is mantra meditation. We chant the holy names of the Lord. That is the best way to control the mind. And not only that, to also control the senses, right? So this is the best method, just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We will be able to come to that stage of self-realization. So I'm going to end right now at verse number 48. We'll continue with verse 49 next week. But of course, we are going to, if you all don't mind, we will chant the whole round of Maha Mantra today, 108 beats. But before that, I had a question for all of you that I got a request that for some it is very difficult to attend this class on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So they were suggesting if we can go back to Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, oh, Christina, do you think that is not practical for you? Okay, what about, can you all suggest some other day or time which would be suitable for everybody? So right now, those who are unable to come at this time on Sundays at 9 p.m., I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, they are listening to the recordings on YouTube, but they would like to attend in person. So do you all have any suggestions? Maybe you all can give some suggestions. Okay, Manoj says he's mostly open. So I think, Christina, you were working at that time, right?
Yes.
So, Christina, are you working? Yes, Nehal, go ahead. Nehal, go ahead.
I also like Sunday morning,
can't
but
hear you.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Sunday at midday at 12 or something. I have free.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, that's a good idea. Would Sunday, maybe 11 a.m. or 12 noon, would that work for everybody? That is also good because then they'll be able to join later on. Yes. Okay, Nehal says yes. What about the others? Is Sunday, I would say, how about we keep it at 11 a.m.? Would that work? No, say 12. Yeah, 12 o'clock. Yeah, 12 would be good. Okay, that works. So Manoj said it works for him. And Satyanarayan Prabhu, would that work for you?
Actually, that doesn't work for me, but just for me, don't I can watch in YouTube.
But what would be good for you on Sunday?
9 is okay, current time
Okay.
is okay. But 12, once I go out, I don't know what time I come back.
Okay.
My schedule is not fixed.
Okay. So would late afternoon work for you on Sunday or no?
Once I get out of the house, there is no guarantee.
Okay.
There is no guarantee that what time I come back.
Okay. So another
No, if you ask me, for me the best time is Sunday, like a 7 a.m. But I know it is not good for other people because that is the only relaxing day.
Okay. Would 7 a.m. in the morning work for everybody? So Sangeeta, 7 a.m. in the morning would be 5:30 p.m. for you in India. So I'm talking to Sangeeta on Facebook. So would 7 a.m. in the morning work for all of you? Is that too early? What would be that time for you, Christina?
What time will be for us? It's 5:30 p.m.
That is in India. That is for India.
But here, what time will be for us?
What time is it for you right now?
Now it's 9:30 a.m.
Oh, 9:30 p.m.?
A.m.
A.m., yes, A.m. It'll be the same, 7 a.m. for you because we also have 9:30 a.m. here.
Okay.
Would 7 a.m. in the morning work?
Yes, it's right.
So what about Nehal and Manoj and Parijat? I know it'll be, I think, 6 o'clock for you.
Or even 8 a.m. is okay too.
Okay.
But
8.
if it works them.
Okay. So let's narrow it down to 8 a.m., which is not too early for some of you. And 8 a.m. would be 6:30 p.m. for you, Sangeeta, in India, 6:30 p.m. So yeah, okay, Manoj also is suggesting 8 a.m. So let's keep it for 8 a.m.
8
So
a.m.
yes,
also.
8 a.m. Yes, yes, 8 a.m.
Yeah,
So
it works for us also, Gita ji.
okay, okay, all right. So thank you all so much. Let us now chant the Mahamantra now. Okay. So if y'all don't mind, we'll chant the whole 108 beads, which is the whole round. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram,
Krishna, Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, 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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram,
Good morning.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all so much for chanting 108 times the Maha Mantra. So I will stop now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you are very welcome to ask.